Beyonce is one of those artists who just keeps getting better and better with each project, but we can't forget she was on a whole different level right from the beginning. Her debut album, Dangerously in Love, established her as a force in the music industry all on her own, apart from Destiny's Child. But in my opinion, it was her next album, B-Day, that really saw her come into her own creatively. Released in 2006, B-Day was one of the biggest eras of the 2000s, with multiple hit singles that are still known and loved to this day. Recorded shortly after filming Wrapped for Dreamgirls, which he had the starring role in, B worked with some of the hottest producers from the time, such as Darkchild, Rich Harrison, Sean Garrett, and Twist Beats, to blend some of the musical styles from the movie with contemporary pop and R&B. And the girl did not mess around when it came to recording, as all the studios in Sony's New York building were occupied for 3 weeks with her producers, who helped her crank out all of the songs from the album during that time, working for nearly 14 hours a day, according to songwriter Makeba Riddick. Similar to the Dreamgirls soundtrack, B-Day is steeped in 1960s and 70s R&B influences, though it definitely draws more from 70s dance and funk music, while Dreamgirls was more inspired by 60s Motown and pop soul music. And for those who haven't seen the movie, well, first of all, go watch it, it's amazing. But it's about a fictional 60s girl group called The Dreams, which Beyonce is the lead singer of, and it follows their journey through the music industry, as well as the tumultuous relationship between B's character, Dina Jones, and her husband, Curtis Taylor, played by Jamie Foxx. B was heavily inspired by Dina when developing the album, saying she wanted it to be a female empowerment record, and that the songs came as a result of bottled up emotions she had from playing her character for so long. You can absolutely hear that inspiration throughout the album, as B-Day is made up of empowering bops that highlight her confidence and independence. No other song exemplifies this attitude better than Irreplaceable, which was not only the biggest hit of this era, but one of her biggest hits period. This song was utterly inescapable in 2007, and for good reason. The To the Left hook, and B's unapologetic dismissal of her cheating man, made it a cultural phenomenon. To this day, you can't say To the Left without busting into this song. Irreplaceable was actually written by Neo, and originally meant to be sung by a male artist, but he thought it would be better coming from a female artist. Upon hearing the demo, Beyonce loved it, and after making a couple of changes, decided to include it on B-Day. Thank God things went this way, because I truly can't imagine any other artist singing this aside from Beyonce, especially not a male artist. It would just come across so differently if a guy sang it. Not that it would be bad, it just wouldn't pack the same punch in my opinion. Even though it's actually kind of an outlier sonically for the album, since it's a mid-tempo, acoustic-y R&B pop track, as opposed to the club-ready bangers that B-Day is mostly made up of. Irreplaceable still fits comfortably, thanks to its themes of female empowerment. The song was a smash, spending 10 weeks at number 1 on the US Hot 100. This was the shot in the R&B Day needed, as the previous 2 singles, Deja Vu and Ring the Alarm, were moderate hits, but not even close to the levels of her previous hits, like Baby Boy or Naughty Girl, which is totally unfair because both of those songs are bops. Deja Vu especially slaps. It's one of my all-time favorite Beyonce songs. The live instrumentation is what really makes the song irresistibly danceable, with the bass especially making it impossible to not move to. The song was released as the lead single in June 2006, and while it was fairly well received, the video attracted controversy from fans and critics, who said it was too sexually suggestive. And I'm sorry, even by 2006 standards, there's really nothing that crazy in this video. It's extremely tame, but apparently fans didn't think so, even going so far as to make a whole online petition for her to reshoot the video, which stated the video was unacceptable by Beyonce standards, that her dancing was erratic, confusing, and alarming, and that her fashions weren't good. And I'm sorry, but I'd wear literally every single dress in this video. You want to come for Beyonce filleting her husband? Fine, but you are not coming after this dress. No ma'am. Despite the controversy, the song peaked at number 4 on the Hot 100, while the next single, Ring the Alarm, peaked at number 11. This song drew some controversy for its cover, which has B posing with 2 baby alligators, which PETA deemed to be abusive. I don't want to make it sound like I'm dismissing animal cruelty or anything, but this cover is such a fucking serve that I kind of don't care. I mean, I hope the alligators were fine, but come on, look at this. I wouldn't go within 100 feet of an alligator, and here's Beyonce just casually serving cunt right next to 2 of them. Ring the Alarm is another bop, with frantic production that includes blaring sirens and an abrasive, confrontational performance from B. She is pissed in this song, warning her man to stay away from another woman, a lesson Jay-Z clearly was not paying attention to. I guess he literally did not hear the alarms ringing. This song is just so much fun, and the video is amazing too, being an homage to the iconic 1992 film Basic Instinct. Beyonce's look in this video is so good. She looks so hot and really embodies the Sharon Stone character from the movie. I always found Ring the Alarm to be a precursor to songs like Don't Hurt Yourself or Sorry off of Lemonade, only this one is more danceable, which makes sense since B-Day was an album made for the clubs. It's far more up-tempo than her debut, with back-to-back party tracks meant to be played on the dance floor. Arguably the best of them is Get Me Bodied, a stomping, relentless banger about doing yourself up and going out to the club with your friends. It's totally the kind of song you have to play when you're getting ready to go out, just an absolute hype track, and the extended mix is even more fun. It's also an unofficial birthday song of mine, since it opens with her saying her birthday, and even though mine's about a month after hers, it's still one that I need to listen to regardless. Other highlights from B-Day include Green Light, Sugar Mama, Upgrade You, which is another one of my favorite Beyonce songs, and Freakum Dress, which despite never being released as a single, is still iconic. She literally coins the term Freakum Dress and made it a mainstream thing with the deep cut. That just goes to show the power of Miss Carter. The video was also tons of fun, featuring B and several other women modeling their Freakum dresses, all 30 of which were designed by her mother, Tina. This video, along with Get Me Bodied, are my personal favorites from this era. And speaking of, B-Day has the distinction of being Beyonce's first visual album. She shot 9 videos in the span of 2 weeks, meaning every song on the standard edition of the album, aside from Resentment, had a video. She also shot a video for another song called Still in Love, Kissing You, which is a cover of the 1997 Desiree song Kissing You. However, the video was later removed, as Desiree's publishers filed a lawsuit against Sony since they only agreed to allow Beyonce to cover it if the title wasn't changed and if a video wasn't shot for it. 2 things they literally did. I actually doubt Beyonce even knew about these terms, since that seems like something her team would handle, but still, it's funny to imagine her reading the deal, seeing these 2 stipulations, and just saying screw that, I'm gonna do whatever I want. To be honest, the video was probably one of the weaker ones anyways, so it's not like it was a huge loss. It's funny how much controversy this album had looking back on it. I was too young to be keeping up with stuff like this at the time, but from my little kid perspective, I just remember thinking Beyonce was on top of the world during this era, especially with the cultural ubiquity of Irreplaceable, and to a lesser extent the success of its following single, Beautiful Liar featuring Shakira. This song is a bop, which perfectly blends both of their styles, while staying true to the themes of female empowerment of B-Day. The song is basically about a man who played Beyonce and Shakira by being in a relationship with both of them at the same time, and instead of getting mad at each other, they agree fighting over this man is not worth it. This song is so underrated nowadays, I feel like I rarely ever see it talked about, but it's again one of my favorite Beyonce songs. The second I hear Beyonce, Shakira in the opening, I just get so lit. It's crazy to think the song was actually not on the standard edition of B-Day, instead being released in the April 2007 re-release, which included a bunch of new songs, including Flaws and All, which is another one I always think is on the standard edition, since it's such a quintessential track from this era. This one was also co-written by Neo and Beyonce's sister Solange, and it's definitely one of the prettiest moments on the album, being a sparse ballad about how she appreciates her man accepting her for who she is. It's a gorgeous track, and I was actually so shocked it was the second song she performed during her Renaissance tour. I mean, it was a pleasant surprise, I was just really not expecting it. Some of my other favorite bonus tracks include Creole, Back Up, and Lost Your Mind, which are all bangers that have an almost big bandy quality to them. The beginning of Lost Your Mind is so funny to me, by the way. I guess they didn't want her saying the F word, so she goes, OMG, you lost your mother freaking mind. And it just sounds so unnatural, but honestly, that's kind of what makes it great. If you've heard it, you know what I mean. I also just love playing the chorus of her screaming, you must have lost your mind, in my head whenever I see someone doing something stupid, which half the time is me, but still, I just love how extra it is. I think the only bonus track that aged a little poorly is Worldwide Woman, which is still a good song, don't get me wrong, but it's definitely a product of its time, with its lyrics of comparing herself to the internet. I'm a worldwide woman, www. You can log on anywhere, your girl can take you there. If it's like a Mac you own, maximize the full potential. Baby, if you connect with me, I'm just like your high-speed cable. I cannot imagine her singing these lyrics nowadays, but I'd pay good money to see a performance of this one. It's honestly kind of hilarious in how on the nose it is. Overall, B-Day was truly where Beyonce became the artist we know her as today. Obviously, she was a superstar before this, but this was really where her creativity and artistry started reaching its full potential. She made bops and fun videos before B-Day, but the fact that she made a whole visual album for this era just showed how dedicated she was to her art, and showed how she was ready to start taking her music to the next level. This album raised the bar for all of her succeeding records. Starting with B-Day, people didn't just expect albums from Beyonce, they expect experiences, visuals, and cohesive themes tying her eras together. Without B-Day, that standard may have never been set, and for that, it absolutely deserves its flowers. If you haven't heard it in a while, definitely get back into it. It's a party record through and through that proves why Beyonce is, and forever will be, that girl.